Everyone, thanks for joining us today. We've had quite a bit of interest in today's webinar, so I really hope it's going to be helpful. We're going to be trying out some new software, so please bear with us. So this webinar is set for 30 minutes. We have quite a lot to cover, so we'll be sharing the slides and recording after. If you can leave your questions in the comments as we go, we'll take your questions as we go. Katie is our moderator for today, and she'll be able to answer any questions you have that come up during the course of the webinar. So just moving on to our first slide. So we've shared some polls just to find out if you currently customize your messages for different social media networks. We'll be sharing the results of the poll at the end of the webinar. So if you've seen that pop up, please feel free to leave your response. Today we have a really exciting giveaway. So we're actually going to be giving away 5 of our super popular printed 2018 social media calendars. Each one is worth just over $50. This includes 114 events with trending hashtags to increase exposure for your content on social media. So we've actually never given away any printed calendars before. So to show you what that looks like, let me just go to the next. So this is a photograph of our calendar actually hanging in our office at the moment. So if you'd like to enter our competition to win one of these, all you have to do is, let me get this, sorry, I was having some difficulty with this. Yes, all you have to do is, if you're not a Sendible user, simply start your free trial during the course of the webinar by going to sendible.com/free trial. If you're an existing Sendible user, if you just leave us a review before the end of the webinar, just go to bit.ly/review Sendible. At the end of it, we'll obviously look for anyone who left a comment with the word entered, and we'll be contacting the 5 winners tomorrow. So if you go ahead and do that anytime during the webinar, we'll be in touch tomorrow with those 5 winners who'll be winning one of these printed calendars. Bear in mind, we have had over 5,000 downloads of this calendar, and obviously no one owns a printed version, so it's really, really exciting stuff. So if you can share, just so I can make sure you guys can hear me from in the chat window. I can see quite a few comments already about different locations, so South Africa, Maryland. Anyone else, any other locations that we can mention? Detroit, Savannah, Vancouver, wow, so Chicago. Yeah, as I said, we have a lot of attendees today, so really exciting to see all the different locations. Okay, so just a bit about me. So for those of you from South Africa, this is my hometown. So I originate from South Africa, from Cape Town. I've been living in the UK for about 12 years, and I now live in London. It's a very different sort of lifestyle, but really exciting to be part of a fast-moving city. If you don't know me, I'm the founder and CEO of Sendible. I launched Sendible 10 years ago. I've been building on the social media APIs for almost 10 years now, so I really have got to know the various platforms inside out. In fact, when we first launched, just after we launched in 2010, we actually uncovered a massive Facebook bug that was written about on TechCrunch, which basically enabled any user of Facebook to promote themselves on behalf of a brand. So if you're a Starbucks, you could have one of your Starbucks fans making it look as if your posts came from Starbucks. So there's an article on TechCrunch. Sendible is now used by over 20,000 businesses worldwide. Most of our customers are based in the US. So today I'm going to be discussing how social media is changing. Obviously, it's changing a lot recently. And something I'm going to uncover today is this thesis, where the fact is that we live in a world where social media publishing, as we know it, is dead. I know it sounds scary, but I'm going to show you why I believe that is the case at the moment. In the first part, you might feel bad about our social media activities as marketers. But by the end of it, you'll have enough tools to use to help you overcome some of these changes, and obviously increase your reach and exposure on social media. So just a brief summary of our mission at Sendible. So at Sendible, our goal is to help marketers be more productive by giving them an opportunity to lift themselves to achieve their greatest potential. As we've moved towards our mission over the years, we've seen inside more than 1 million social profiles. So, we're able to obviously detect what's happening. We can keep track of what's being happening on our customers' social media accounts. I'm just going to mute my, sorry, my sounds are coming through at the moment. Let me just do that quickly. Okay. It's all coming through. So just continuing. Oh yeah. So sorry about those noises coming through on the background. I'm just struggling to mute the tool at the moment. So as I said, we've seen inside 1 million social profiles from our customers. We've also worked really closely with Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Google, and LinkedIn for almost 10 years. So we have a lot of visibility into what the various platforms are doing, what their roadmaps look like in some cases, and we're able to obviously share some insights into what's happening on social media. So today I'm going to show you some of the social media publishing trends we've seen come and go, what's changing and the signals we're seeing, what we can do as marketers, and how Sendible can help. And then we'll obviously take any questions at the end of the webinar. So these are some of the social media publishing trends we've seen come and go. Historically, as publishers, social media was our best distribution vehicle for content. So obviously, we've seen people basically just broadcasting out the same content over and over across different channels. And that used to work. It used to drive referral traffic from social media. We also, back then, didn't need to invest much time in crafting different content for each audience. All we had to do was really show up with our content, make sure we could get our content out to our audiences. Didn't matter if it was different. But the most time-consuming task, according to marketers, has always been finding and posting content. So you can see that historically, people spend most of their time really sourcing, curating, and posting content for their audiences. There's also this rule from Coca-Cola, the 70-20-10 rule, where they suggested that 70% of posts should add value and help build the brand, 20% should share ideas or content from other sources, and 10% should be more experimental. So that's what was recommended by Coca-Cola. That's still recommended by some social media experts today. Let me know in the chat what you think. Do you think that 70-20-10 rule still applies for social media? Is this still relevant today with so much change? Let me know what you think by the end of the webinar, and we can obviously see what people say in the comments. So historically, our goal was to simply fire and forget and save time. That was our goal as marketers, just get as much out as possible, get our messaging across, broadcast. And we were able to easily post the exact same content to Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and drive referral traffic and awareness. In fact, Facebook even has the automatic posting to Twitter, where you can just basically copy the exact same post onto Twitter. But is that the best way to go? We'll find out. And all of this was done purely in an effort to keep up appearances and save resources. So interesting little graphic on the left there. When you're dead on the inside, but need to keep up appearances on social media. That's where we've come from. But then things change. So what's happening? What's happened? So the first change was advertising was introduced. So I'm sure you'll recognize the Facebook ad manager tools. Really scary at first glance, but we've obviously learned to enjoy and use it and figure out all the different quirks. With more advertising, basically meant increased competition for eyeballs. So when you have more advertisers, obviously Facebook, Twitter, and other social networks have to obviously display those ads to their viewers and users. So with that, obviously meant increased competition to get your own content seen. But unfortunately, ads don't give users the best experience. So in Facebook's situation, brand posts, ads, and sponsored content take away from the aha moment of connecting people. So Mark Zuckerberg made this statement where he said that since there's more public content than posts, the most important thing which Facebook can do, which is helping us connect with each other. So that's obviously an indication as to where Facebook is heading. Twitter similarly cleaned up their platform with new developer rules and policies. So according to the rules, they said that you may not post duplicative or substantially similar tweets on one account or over multiple accounts you operate. So at Sendible, we had to obviously change our platform slightly because we do enable this. We've now made a tweak where you can only post five tweets that are the same content at the same time to help adhere to these policies and help produce a better experience for Twitter's users. So as publishers, our objectives are changing. We can no longer just fire and forget. Our content needs to drive meaningful conversations. So on the left, you can see obviously that update from Facebook, where obviously they're focusing on conversations. And someone commented, so with major changes on Facebook newsfeed, we'll finally get to see who has real, actual audience. Those still bots will be bots, I guess. So again, it's all about kind of getting to know your audience and driving meaningful conversations from them. So this should come as no surprise. Even though we had the news from Facebook a couple of weeks ago about the changes that are coming, this really should be of no surprise to us marketers. In fact, back in June 2016, Facebook announced something very similar. They said, we anticipate that this update may cause reach and referral traffic to decline for some pages. This is referring to an update in 2016. And obviously, we noticed those changes. This month, Facebook made a very similar announcement. As we make these updates, pages may see their reach, video, watch time, and referral traffic decrease. So we can see where the trends are going, especially from Facebook. And we've obviously known this now for 2 years, so it should be as no surprise. In a similar vein, Twitter introduced the 280-character tweets to help users better express themselves. So actually, in Twitter's blog, back in November 2017, they explained the results of their first 280 experiment, where they said that in addition to more tweeting, people who had more room to tweet received more engagement. So likes, retweets, mentions, got more followers and spend more time on Twitter. Again, the clue there is spend more time on Twitter. And that is, again, very similar to what Facebook are wanting to do in terms of conversations and helping to reach the aha moment for their audience or for their users. So what it is that Facebook both want to do, so they both want to generate meaningful interactions for their users. They both want to keep users on their platforms for longer so they can generate more ad revenue. As we know, as Facebook have indicated, they want to have people spending less time watching videos. I believe that's so they can spend more, generate more ad revenue. They also want to be able to deliver value to their users with quality, engaging content that sparks conversations. And of course, increase ad spend. So if you look at that graph on the left, you can see a significant increase in ad spend over time. So yeah, you can see how the trend is, going up according to ad revenues, and how digital ad spending is kind of just flattening out there. So what is going on with all these changes? What's happening at the moment? What's the state of the social media industry right now? So we know we have almost 2.5 billion social media users. We've always said that social media is going mobile, but I think it is, we can all agree, is now a mobile sort of platform or tool. We also know that social messaging is overtaking social media, with WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, and all these different things are kind of coming up now, and we're seeing more usage on them. Chatbots are becoming the norm. So, customers are used to now interacting with chatbots. The one thing that we know is that reach and referral traffic is plummeting. That we can see, obviously, in all the trends are showing organic reach is dropping. We also know that video is still the most popular content type. So with the advent of, obviously, stories, Facebook Live, LinkedIn's native video, which I've recently introduced. So that is definitely a trending situation at the moment. The other thing that we know right now is that user-generated content can help drive reach and engagement. So I'll touch on that a bit later on. We know that businesses are pouring more and more ad spend into their social media campaigns to help drive that reach up. So at Sendible, we believe that organic social media is increasingly becoming a channel for engagement and brand building, not for referral traffic or revenue. So social media used to be a megaphone, but now it's becoming more of a conversation. 4 reasons we believe that this to be true. So we have 4 reasons. So we're seeing lower reach and referral traffic when posting organically on social media. We've obviously seen the rise of social messaging and chatbots, and people are using social media now to reach brands. So obviously messaging them, reaching out to them, expecting responses more in a chat sort of fashion. Algorithms prioritize engagement. So yeah, of course, we know that Facebook's newsfeed, Twitter, Instagram, etc., they're always going to show posts that have more engagement, more comments, more shares, more retweets, and that is really important. That's the key to all these changes. So as I said before, we live in a world where social media publishing, as we know it, is dead. So what can you do? I mean, obviously, there's a lot of concern for us marketers who've had these habits over the years of kind of posting things out, hoping for the best, trying to drive sort of referral traffic. So I believe as marketers, we have a new goal. We have to create compelling social media experiences, not just posts, but social media experiences that resonate with each audience and is designed to get people talking. So you have to remember that the more conversations around your content, the higher your reach. So the goal here is to really spend time crafting your content, creating that engagement, getting those conversations going, and getting people talking about your content or about each other. So how do we drive conversations and experiences for users? So the first thing I would recommend is really getting to know your audience on each social channel. So really get to understand them, spend time looking at what they're doing on social media. Use tools like Sendible to kind of create reports around what your audience is doing. Second thing is to spend more time on actually crafting content that works on each social channel. So just like how when email marketing first took off, people could just send out any email and you would get kind of opens and clicks. The key now is to spend more time actually crafting content that works, so that your content is seen on social media. The other thing is to publish content at the optimal times for each audience and recycle content. So again, as I mentioned, getting to know your audience is key. You need to experiment with different times and really see what times generate more engagement for your audience. And you can do that by recycling the content over different periods at different times, different days of the week, just to see what's working, what's driving those comments, shares, likes. Another thing which I recommend if you aren't doing yet is to really consider boosting your content now. It's really key to kind of give your content a bit of traction. So obviously with boost, you're likely to get more comments, more shares, more likes. With that, you should see more visibility on social media. On Facebook, to keep ahead of the changes, you really need to, as I said, get people clicking, sharing, and talking. For boosted posts too, you really need to drive up your social media relevance for those posts. So that means, obviously, how much those posts resonate with the audience that you're targeting. You need to consider how to spark conversations. So if you aren't doing it yet, I highly recommend using Facebook Live. Have a play, experiment with it. Try using polls, asking questions. Obviously, you can use Facebook stories and that kind of thing to kind of really drive the engagement. Another thing is obviously if you aren't using Facebook Live, create videos, short videos of yourself, just prompting discussion, asking questions. Doesn't have to be too long. Just something that gets people talking. Other thing is obviously we know Facebook groups are full of discussions, people talking a lot about different topics, highly targeted. Definitely, if you aren't doing it yet, get involved in Facebook groups. Join as many groups as you can that are relevant to your sort of target audience. The other key thing now is obviously posting content that's relevant to local fans. So Facebook has said that people want to see more local sort of content. Obviously, they've been surveying their audience, their users, and they know this is a trend. So I would say that the more local you can make your content and the more targeted, the better it is. People are more likely to resonate in their news feeds, which will drive engagement. Another thing is obviously to pay attention to the news and start driving conversations, even if they are local, regarding important timely issues. We've actually just published a really useful 3,000-word article about how you can kind of get more reach on Facebook organically. So please take a look at sendible.com/insights just to see what those tips are kind of saying about this. But there are ways around. It's not all doom and gloom for us marketers. On Twitter, okay, so the same tactics apply. Obviously, we have the 280 characters to drive engagement. But the key on Twitter is people are used to seeing the same. Well, because people don't really generally see your tweets a lot of the time, you really have to recycle content, because we know that the lifetime of a tweet is extremely short. So you really need to keep your content recycled and kind of going out at optimal times. The key thing is to utilize influencers to increase your reach, especially on Twitter, which I'll give you some more tips about that shortly. So we know that user-generated content can help drive reach and engagement. If you look at the stats on the left, we're seeing, with user-generated content, which means content generated on your personal social media accounts as opposed to your business accounts. So with that approach, we're seeing 7 times higher engagement than brand-generated Facebook posts. 45% look at user-generated images for inspiration at least once a day, as opposed to brand-posted images. So that's really important. And obviously, with user-generated content, you have the trust factor. So when you have your audience or your influencers or your employees posting your content out, you have that trust that can help drive ROI for your brand ultimately. And 56% of people are more likely to buy a product after seeing a positive customer-generated post of it. So we really have to start taking advantage of employee and brand advocacy programs to kind of help drive our reach. So yeah, the ultimate thing is you'll be left behind if you don't invest the time to create better experiences on social. You really have to think about how you can do that now, how to craft those experiences, how to reach out to influencers, build your employee advocacy sort of program, and drive that out. Before I get on to the next slide, I just want to check if there are any questions in the chat room. So I know Katie's been answering some of them. Just want to see if there are any other questions that I can help with at the moment. So yeah, obviously with the slides, we'll be sending out the slides at the end of the webinar along with the recording. I'm just going to see in the meantime if I can try and mute this annoying sound that keeps popping up. Okay, just struggling with that. Okay. Okay, great. So I can see Katie's doing a great job in the chat over there. We'll obviously get to the questions right at the end. Okay, so obviously those are some of the changes that we have to take advantage of. Obviously the concerns for us social media marketers and what's actually happening. So what are the 5 ways that Sendible can help you right now? So the first thing is obviously to get your employee advocacy program set up on Sendible. So the way you can do it is obviously if you haven't got a Sendible account, just register for a trial. We have a free 30-day trial. And the first thing you can do is create logins for your employees. Obviously educate them on the importance of them sharing your content. So start by letting them connect their profiles to your company Sendible account. As the admin of the account, you can then start sending content for approval to your employees in a way for them to post to their own channels. Once they start doing that, we also have reports that help you kind of create leaderboards for your employees to see which of your employees are generating the most engagement, the most ROI for your content. So if you aren't doing this yet, if you have a Sendible account or if you're thinking about it, I would say this is a great way to kind of get your reach out there on social media. Obviously, we have connections for social profiles, for personal profiles, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, etc. It makes it really easy to get that content out. And coming soon, we're actually going to be building a dedicated area within Sendible just to handle this more seamlessly. But for now, I would highly recommend getting this set up. They can even download the Sendible mobile app, so that when you send out content, they receive a push notification to get them to kind of promote it for you. The second thing you can do on Sendible right now is to really get to know your audience. So with Sendible, we have in-depth reports that help you understand when the best time is to post for your audience for each social network. So in this chart, you can see the best time is around 2 p.m. For our Instagram account, but you can do this for any account, any social network, any day of the week. You can pick up exactly when your audience are most engaged and use that to really double down on your posting times for each channel so you can generate results. The third thing you can do with Sendible is reach out to influencers and discover new influencers and obviously reach out to them. So we have a really powerful influencer search engine, which lets you go really deep into the different verticals. So on the right there, you can see related topics, even things like specialty, equipment, market association. If you want to go as deep as that, you can then find influencers around that particular topic, reach out to them, build relationships, and try get them to engage with your audience by promoting some of your content. You can also set them up in a nurturing campaign, which is really important. So if you want to get an influencer's attention, Sendible has an automatic retweet feature where you can set it up to automatically retweet at regular intervals particular influencers and try to get their attention before you actually reach out to them. Third thing is to recycle your content to find the optimal times to engage your audience. So with Sendible, you can create queues with different time slots at different times of the week. You can obviously keep tweaking these. You can use the optimal queue button for it to automatically generate the optimal times for you. And you can have your content recycle, so you can keep posting out the content on a regular basis so you can learn more about your audience and then build reports to discover when the best time is to post. And this is our newest feature, which is the ability to customize your content for each social network. So obviously, we've looked at the market, we've understood what is going on. And a couple of weeks ago, we released this groundbreaking feature, which allows you to literally create variations of the same post to different social networks. So I'm going to show you a brief demo. Just going to show you what some of our users are saying about this feature. So someone said it's a phenomenal update. My team have been absolutely loving the new feature. That, along with the range of other features, are making their use of social media leaner and more successful at the same time. We have someone who mentioned the new feature makes it possible to tweak posts for each social network. I thought it was best practice and is a big time saver. And in one of the reviews, someone said that the ability to make a basic post and customize it for different platforms is one of the top features they like within Sendible. So I'm going to quickly show you a demo of the Smart Posts feature. It's probably a 5-minute demo, but just to show you how this can give you some new social media superpowers. Let's quickly get out of this thing. So I'm going to jump into the Sendible dashboard. Okay, let me just get this one up. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is just give me 1 second just to share a link. I'm just going to copy and paste the link into the compose box. So if you're new to Sendible, obviously we have a compose box which lets you pretty much publish content to any social network from one place. I'm just going to copy the link that I was going to share shortly. So I'm going to take a link from the Sendible blog, just copy it into the compose box. Okay. Okay, so we have a post on our blog about how much you should pay a social media manager. So I'm going to start by just pasting this link in here. And you'll see it generates a link preview. You can obviously select your services, your social networks you want to post to. So I'm going to select the Sendible fan page and our Twitter account. I'll post it to my personal Twitter account and maybe our Instagram account at the same time. So the first thing you'll see is that this is the original that's been copied across for each of our different tabs. Now, let's say on Facebook, I want to maybe tag the business page or tag someone on Facebook. So I might want to tag Gary Vaynerchuk. Find him. If I get his attention by posting that, I may want to change the casing of this. On Twitter, I might want to add some hashtags. So put some hashtags in there. Maybe mention someone on the Twitter handle. Maybe mention Sendible directly. And I may want to actually replace this link preview with an image. So I might just want to go in here and rather use a full post image to try to get more engagement on Twitter. Similarly, I might want to do something on Instagram. So I might want to rather change this link preview to another image. So there you can see in a matter of seconds, I've now customized my content for each of the different social channels. Facebook, I can follow best practices. I can have conversation starters within that sort of message. For Twitter, I might want to add hashtags. I might want to have a slightly longer message. I want to use an image instead of a link preview. And Instagram, of course, we all know that we need to post images, engaging images on Instagram. So there I've just shown you in a matter of minutes, we can engage our audience in different ways by customizing the content according to the different social channels. Any questions so far on how that works? Okay, cool. Okay, I'll get to your question shortly. Let me get to the next one. So what does Smart Posts do in terms of the challenges we have as social media marketers? So using Smart Posts, you can increase the reach of every post you publish to each social profile as it will be as targeted as it can be with its messaging. So obviously with all the knowledge we have of different audiences and different platforms, we now have the ability, without taking any more time, to actually customize our content and making sure that we're going to generate as much engagement as possible. The other thing is to obviously impress our clients by sending optimized content to different social channels at the exact same time. So it may look like we're doing a lot of work. It may look like it took a long time to kind of draft that content and craft it for different audiences. But the key is you can do it in just a few seconds and get that out. Just want to give you a brief preview of some of the updates that are coming to Sendible shortly. So we have obviously automatic Instagram scheduling, as I know Katie's been answering in the comments. We have Google My Business, which is a really exciting update coming really soon. We have Facebook ad comment monitoring, which was made available last week. So you can connect the Facebook ad service within Sendible and start receiving notifications of new comments on any of your ads. We're building new Facebook ad reports to kind of help you understand how your ads are performing. Obviously, Facebook boosts and enhanced targeting are really important. So those are being worked on at the moment. And finally, as I mentioned, being able to build your employee advocacy features within Sendible. So that's also coming really soon to the platform. Okay, I'm going to take some questions now from the comments. I'm going to just have Katie kind of, because there have been so many questions here. So Katie, if you can let me know which questions I should answer in the chat window, and then I can jump onto those now. So some of these updates are being worked on at the moment. How does Sendible compare to Sprout Social and Hootsuite? Louise, I think the best way to show you is through a demo. So if you just send an email to hello@sendible.com, we can book a demo and just show you the differences. Obviously, I just touched on one feature within Sendible, but we have many others, many other kind of tools that help you be more productive on social media. That's kind of our main sort of goal, is to help marketers be more productive, get more done, and help to achieve results on social media. Cross-posting and tagging between pages, is it still effective or not? Yeah, maybe Katie, do you have any thoughts on that one in the comments about cross-posting and tagging between pages? Personally, I think it is still effective, but it'll be good to see what other people think. Why not hashtag on every social media outlet? Is there a reason not to? So hashtagging probably isn't that useful, for example, on LinkedIn. You might want to not use hashtags. You might want to have a more formal approach to your content. Obviously, it's critical to use on Instagram and Twitter, But the key for Facebook is to not make it seem like you're kind of baiting your audience. You want to make it seem as natural as possible to help drive those conversations. So I would definitely say you should consider when you use hashtags, depending on which platform you're posting to. Hootsuite does have a feature that I miss. When did Facebook, Instagram? Where did everyone let us know about? Okay. So Mary, yeah. So this was actually, so we're actually Facebook and Instagram partners. So we were actually informed pretty early of these changes. So a recent announcement was obviously Instagram now has now made it available to publish to Facebook directly without using the push notification approach. So where we do have information, we do tend to kind of share it where we're able to. Will LinkedIn tagging be possible at some point? So obviously we're working closely with LinkedIn on this. Their API team is quite far behind some of the others. So as soon as that's available, we'll definitely add that into the platform. Can you add an image? Yeah, so Amanda, you can add any image you want. I just showed you a quick example of how you can generate, how you can kind of take an image from a link, but you can very easily just attach a replacement image to your posts. Amanda, if you want to maybe schedule a demo or a training session, we can show you how that works. What else do we have? Pinterest, yeah. So in terms of the Pinterest updates, we obviously, as I said in the beginning, we work closely with a lot of these platforms. Pinterest no longer see themselves as a social network. So they're obviously very cautious of people just posting content, as I said in the beginning. That's what they're trying to change. So we're obviously working with them to produce a better experience for those marketers who more need to curate content and kind of build up their Pinterest board. So there will be more updates coming on that hopefully soon. Chelsea, in terms of the employee advocacy features, how that will look. So the idea is that you'll be able to invite your staff or your employees to join your Sendible account. When they join, they'll be able to opt in to connect their social profiles. Once they've connected their profiles, you'll have the ability to post content to them, which they can choose to publish. In exchange, you'll be able to see a leaderboard of which employees are generating the most engagement for your brand, and then you'll be able to obviously reward those employees. So we have the tools within Sendible already. We're just going to kind of streamline the process. So for now, if you want to get your employees used to the idea, you could do it within Sendible as it stands today. Does the employee advocacy concept work with all types of Facebook pages? So with employee advocacy, you really need to have your employees connecting their personal Facebook profiles. So that's the key here, right? So you want to get your employees connecting their personal profiles and allowing you to post on behalf to their profiles. And then when you want to post, they receive a notification to opt in to allow that post to go out. So that's the key here, to kind of get them to kind of promote your content to their audience. Instagram publishing, we're hoping to get this out by the end of the week. Our teams are working actually pretty hard on it as we speak. So yeah, we'll obviously announce it as it gets released. With the Instagram update, it's going to allow you to, the posting updates. So with the first version, you can't post at different times. You have to post at the exact same time. But we're obviously going to be innovating on this feature over the coming months. And one of our top requests was to allow you to kind of tweak the times for each social network audience. Does Facebook lessen visibility when you hit a certain number of likes? I don't believe that is true. Maybe Katie can help with that from her knowledge. Can I select service groups and still use the custom posts per network? So right now, service lists or service groups, we don't allow you to tweak it per social network. That's something we're also working on. So what you have to do is actually select them individually or manually select them by group when you select your services to post to. So Kelly, is there a way around Instagram posting requiring a mobile connection? So Kelly, obviously that's part of the Instagram post we're working on at the moment, the Instagram update. So you won't have to actually use a mobile app. You'll be able to promote sorry, to post your content out directly from Sendible without having to use an app at all. So yeah, Max asking about GDPR changes in May. So obviously we'll announce more information about that for our European customers and how that's going to impact our list building and an opt-in sort of flow, which we're going to obviously be announcing in the coming weeks. Any other questions? Sorry, Leanne, I'm just struggling with my the sounds. I'm going to do that in the future. Obviously, as I said, I'm using new software, so unfortunately, we just didn't have the ability to mute it for this one. But for next time, we'll definitely get that sorted. Sorry about the disruption with the background noises. Can you post to Facebook groups as a company? So at the moment, this is not something Facebook's going to allow. Obviously, they want to drive organic engagement from people on Facebook groups. Someone's asking what's the best way to reach out to influencers. So as I said, you need to make the interaction seem organic. So I would start by getting their attention, liking their tweets, or kind of trying to retweet some of their content. Really trying to get their attention on social media. And then once you have their attention, just send them an email if you can. Just say you obviously like the content they're sharing or that they're producing, and then try get their attention that way. Someone said, can we post to Google Business yet? So as I mentioned, Google My Business, we have that feature ready to go. So we're planning to release that early next week. If you don't know about Google My Business, you really should be researching this. It's a great way to get attention for your business in Google's search results. And this is going to be released next week. What is a good amount of posts to have on each platform per day? So I'm going to ask Katie just to share the link to our article on this topic. So we have an article all about kind of how often to post to social media for each different network. So Katie, if you can share that link in the chat. Okay, any other questions? We've got about 2 minutes left before we have to end the webinar, but quite a few of you still here. Do we have resources to help explain and break down complex digital marketing topics to other departments? We are working on that. So obviously our Sendible Insights blog, if you go to sendible.com/insights, we do try and cover various topics as simply as we can. We do also try to go in depth on some topics. So you'll find some really long articles. But I think what we'll do is obviously we'll try and take that on board and see if we can produce more content like that. Sorry, Paige, I'm not sure what you mean. Should all content be the same amongst each channel? Can you elaborate on that question? So Paige is asking, should all content be the same amongst each channel? Yeah, so that's the key. As I was showing in the demo earlier, you really need to customize the wording for each channel if you can. So obviously we know that on Twitter, people are more receptive to links. But yet on Facebook, maybe not so much. So you need to really change the wording so you aren't link baiting. You're more driving conversations. Similarly for LinkedIn, it's a similar thing. You really need to be asking questions, driving conversations. Whereas on Instagram, not so many conversations, more visual. So you may want to tweak your content, your wording for that platform. We have more information on this on our Insights blog as well. In terms of social listening for hashtags, we have that available on Sendible. We do social media monitoring. We monitor Facebook, so public posts on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, things like Reddit. Pretty much just about every sort of platform out there are monitored for different terms. So as I said, if you sign up for the trial, one of the first steps in the wizard onboarding flow is to kind of enter your hashtags. and you'll start getting emails, notifications for any mentions across the entire social web. Art is asking if there's a place where we can get concise training on using all the features in Sendible. So if it's of value, we'll be doing more webinars, product webinars. We do have a Sendible training program, so a free training lounge where you can get certified with Sendible. You don't need a Sendible account. You can just kind of sign up, get your certification, and you kind of can get the badge, put on your website and your CV or your resume, and kind of get that set up. So I'd really recommend starting with a training course, even before you start the trial if you wanted to. But it does help to have the trial set up and then test things as you go. But that's a really valuable training course to learn the ins and outs. The other thing is we're always happy to do demos. So again, feel free to email that address hello@sendible.com, and we can book you up with a personalized session and obviously learn more about your business and see how we can help it grow and kind of achieve your goals. And the other thing is obviously we'll keep you notified about any new webinars. We're planning to do them at least once a month. So if you're interested, just let us know and we'll make sure you're on that mailing list for the next webinar. In our next webinar, we're likely to cover the Google My Business topic to show you how that works and what the benefits are for your business. So be sure to look out for our emails about upcoming webinars in the coming weeks. Is it important for platform to become platform certified? So obviously, Katie may be able to answer that. For Rachel, what do you think? Is it important to become platform certified for social media managers? Maybe it might be useful to review our recent article on the Insights blog about salaries. So I would highly recommend that if you want to obviously kind of appeal for the job market, but I think it definitely is useful to be certified on Sendible as a platform. Especially if you're going into the market where we have obviously thousands of businesses who are using Sendible, especially agencies. It's really good to have it in your CV. So Bernie, yeah, the best place to find salary information for social media managers, if you go to our blog, sendible.com/insights, maybe Katie can share the direct link. We actually just released an article on this yesterday about salaries and that kind of thing. But if you want to go look at sendible.com/insights, check out some of the content on there. It should be useful. Cool. Any last questions before we end the webinar? And obviously, as I said, if you want to share the recording with any of your colleagues or co-workers, it will be sent to you at the end. I just want to thank you very much for your time today. Do you have to add the platforms individually? So Andrew, yeah, so you have to obviously select your social networks you want to post to first. And as you do that, the tabs will appear so that you can obviously customize your content as you go. But you don't have to add them individually. They'll be there for you to use if you want to. Otherwise, you can just use the default tab, and it will obviously copy that content across to each of the different tabs within the compose box on Sendible. I'm not sure if we have any results from the polls, Katie, but yeah. So just to give you some just insight into the polls before we end it. So in answer to the question, do you currently customize your messages for different networks? So 35% of people said yes. 38.5% of people said sometimes. 12.8% basically said no or when they have time. So people do know the importance of this, but obviously they realize the time issues. And that's obviously what we're trying to solve with Sendible, just help you kind of get that done, because obviously we know it needs to be done. As marketers. Cool. I just want to thank you again for your time. As I said, if you want to book a demo, go ahead and book it in there. Just in terms of obviously a Sendible HQ in the US, we are looking at that for this year. We're looking at hosting a meetup sometime this year in the US. So Rusty, whereabout are you based out of interest? Oh, Nashville. Okay. Yeah, so we're obviously going to look at a location that's central to most of our customers and see if we can book an in-person sort of knowledge sharing sort of session. California, great place. Anyone else keen to meet up in the US? Cool. Great. Yeah, thanks again for your time today. And obviously we'll be in touch in the coming weeks with our next webinar. Have a great day, everyone.